This girl is dating this man, but she regrets it immediately because this man left his wife for her. So, this girl, her name is Chioma. This babe has been living her best life in Lagos for 3 solid years. She got this whole system figured out. Mondays and Tuesdays belong to Alhaji Musa the banker, which flies her and which takes her to those fancy restaurants. Wednesdays and Thursdays is for Chief Adebayo, the oil executive who flies her to Abuja whenever he's feeling generous. And the weekends belong to Mr. Emeka Okafor, the big construction guy who is driving the latest Range Rover. Chioma is smart about this whole thing. She never asks for too much, she never causes drama, and definitely never talks about feelings or the future. These men are married, they have families, so she has her own freedom. She lives in this nice 2-bedroom flat that Chief Adebayo sorted for her, but then everything goes wrong during what should have been a simple weekend trip. Okafor picks her up from her flat that Friday looking different. Someone that was very friendly looks so quiet and is barely saying anything. Something is definitely wrong. Then he starts talking about his marriage to Aduni. This is already a red flag because rule number 1 in Chioma book is that the married sponsor should never discuss their wives with their side chicks, which is a good rule. But Okafor is going on and on about how he and Aduni has been sleeping in separate bedrooms for 2 years, how they only talk about the children, how he feels like a stranger in his own house. Chioma is sitting there thinking, why is he telling her all these things? She tries to change the subject about his latest project in Lekki, but Okafor waves her off and keeps talking about his dead marriage. I beg you, I'm not here for this, Mr. Okafor. I'm sure that was what Chioma was thinking. That night, instead of their usual fun, Okafor is holding Chioma tight and whispering about how they could build something real together. He's talking about love, about future, about how patient she should be while he handles things at home. Chioma is lying there thinking, this is not what I signed up for. This man has forgotten that this is supposed to be light and easy. The next morning, Okafor won't stop talking about next step. He's planning their future while Chioma is trying to get back to Lagos and forget this weird weekend ever happened. On the drive home, she calls her friend Blessing and tells her everything. Blessing is laughing. She's like, Chioma, these married men always say they will leave their wife, but they never do. Just play along and collect your money. In 2 weeks, you will forget all this emotion and go back to normal. Okay, is that a good advice though? But guess what, you guys? Blessing is wrong. Okafor doesn't go back to normal. Instead, he's becoming more and more obsessed. He's calling Chioma every day, sometimes 3 times a day. He's showing up at her flat unannounced with gifts. When she tries to maintain her usual boundary, telling him she has other commitments, he gets angry. One evening, Chioma is getting ready for dinner with Chief Adebayo when Okafor shows up at her door. She tells him she's busy, but he pushes past her into her flat saying they need to talk. He has been drinking and he's holding this small box with an engagement ring. Chioma is staring at the ring and thinking, Jesus Christ, what have I gotten myself into? She tries to explain that she's not ready for marriage, that things between them are good the way they are, but Okafor is not hearing any of it. He's talking about how he already started divorce proceedings, how his lawyer says it will take 6 months, but after that, they can be together properly. That's when Chioma realizes that this man has completely lost his mind. For the next 3 months, Okafor becomes more and more obsessed. He's monitoring her movements, asking her to account for every hours of her day. Our other sponsors start complaining that she's not available anymore. Chief Adebayo actually cuts her off completely, saying she's becoming too complicated. Alhaji Musa reduces her allowance because she keeps cancelling their meetings. Oh my God. Chioma income is dropping, but Okafor is picking up the slack. So financially, she's still okay, but emotionally, she feels like she is suffocated. This man who used to be fun and exciting has become this needy, controlling person who wants to know her every move. Then the real disaster happens when Okafor shows up at her house with his 3 children. He announces that he left Aduni and now they can all be one big happy family. He's standing there looking very happy while his children look confused, and Chioma feels like the ground is opening up beneath her feet. This man has basically made her a stepmother overnight without asking if that's what she wants. Within 2 hours, Chioma organized flats became a war zone. Okafor keeps telling Chioma not to worry, that the children will adjust to her. It tells her the children are resilient. But Chioma is looking at these children and realizing she doesn't know the first thing about being anybody's mother. She has never even babysat before in her life. The first week is hell. Chioma tries to cook jollof rice and burns everything she cooks. The children refuses to eat anything she makes, asking for their mother. My mommy, my mommy, my mommy. Asking for their mommy's cooking. Okafor is no help because he's at work during the day, leaving Chioma alone with these children who clearly hate her. When he comes home in the evening, he's exhausted and stressed, and nothing like the charming man who used to take her on romantic getaways. He falls asleep on the couch most nights, and Chioma finds herself mixing the days when he would leave and go back to his own house. Then, Adunni starts calling. The first time Chioma's phone rings and she sees an unknown number, she almost doesn't answer. But when she picks it, the woman's voice is crying and begging. Adunni is asking Chioma to please have mercy, to please send her husband back home. She's saying the children are suffering, that she doesn't understand how her marriage fell apart. This is the part she never thought about when she was enjoying expensive dinner and designer bag. There is a real woman somewhere crying because her husband is in Chioma's bed. But it gets worse, guys. Chioma discovers that Okafor hasn't actually divorced Adunni at all. He just packed his bag and left. Legally, he is still married. Then, the money problem starts. Okafor's construction company starts struggling because he has been too distracted to handle his projects and his contracts properly. The check he gives Chioma for home expenses bounces. When she goes to withdraw money from the ATM he set up for her, the account is empty. This man has been spending his children's school fees on their relationship, trying to maintain the lifestyle Chioma was used to. The stress is killing him. Like, bro, just go home. He's losing weight, snapping at the children, drinking more than he should. The fun, confident man Chioma fell for has now become a broken person who can barely hold his life together. 6 months after he moved in, Chioma finally admits to herself that she is miserable. She misses her freedom, and she misses being able to come and go as she pleases. She misses not having to worry about homework, school runs, and children food, children tantrum, and she misses the version of Okafor who was exciting. One evening, after the children had flooded the bathroom and had been particularly disrespectful, Chioma sits Okafor down and tells him the truth. She can't marry him. She doesn't want to be a stepmother. She thinks he should go back to Adunni and repair his family. This man lost his mind completely. Okafor starts shouting about how he destroyed his marriage for her, how he gave up everything to be with her, how she led him on and wasted his sacrifices. He's screaming so loud that the neighbors are knocking on the door, asking if everything is okay. The children are crying and hiding behind the sofa. That's when Chioma sees a side of this man she has never seen before. He's not just angry, he's violent. He's throwing things, calling her name that makes her realize she never really knew him at all. The next morning, Okafor gives her exactly 1 hour to pack her things and leave. He takes back the car key, cancels the credit card, tells her the flat was rented in his name, so she has no right to stay. Chioma finds herself outside the building with 1 suitcase and watching him drive away with his children, who are looking at her through the back window with confusion and maybe a little bit of pity. Her other sponsors have moved on. Chief Adebayo is now with some young girls. Alhaji Musa is traveling abroad with his family. Chioma has to go back to squatting with her friend. Our lesson for the day is this. Listen. If you are dating a married person and they start talking about leaving their spouse for you, that's your cue to run. Not walk, run. Because when married people leave their families, they're not just bringing themselves to you, they're bringing their trauma, their guilt, their financial obligation, and yes, their children. So don't be like Chioma that listen to blessing. Run, not walk. Have a great day, guys.